Before we begin, please note that this is a comedy podcast. Our opinions in this episode do not represent our actual views. In accordance with Corona guidelines, this episode was recorded remotely. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Caution Do Not Open podcast. Today, I am joined by Amber.
Hello.
We have Grayson.
Hey.
There's Jackson.
I'm a human.
There's Joey.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And we have Riley.
Hello, Woo.
They ooh-woo. This is not okay. Okay, today we are going to be talking about common boomer misconceptions. Now, what we're talking about specifically is if anyone has ever seen the comics of boomers, such as like, you can't swipe it, son, you have to walk to the next painting, and other similar humor. We're going to be taking that and reversing the roles because, let's be honest, boomers suck at anything technological.
The amount of times I would teach my grandma how to do the same thing. They all work the same way, but I have to do it every time.
I'm glad I came at the right time.
Oh, hello, Quincy Wincy Ooh.
Hey there, Zoomer.
Oh,
Also have
Boomer?
Quincy joining us on the call. Woo!
yes.
Yay.
I'm the person who gets mentally drained by Riley every day I talk to them.
I mean, I
Is
guess
that what
it's kind
you've
of
been
funny that
avoiding?
you came in here right after I ooh-wooed in my introduction, which is not what I did last week.
Not
my
at all.
God.
Let's get started. What is something that we as Zoomers, Gen Z, whatever you want to call us, what is something that we
I
excel
think
at?
we're solidly in between millennial and Gen Z. We're the edge case.
We're drawing a fine line right there.
Except for Amber, who's definitely a Zoomer.
Okay, so I saw this a couple of days ago, and I was totally like, okay, this is just someone who really wants to be called a millennial, because I was looking it up, and it's like, oh yeah, millennials are anywhere between 1990 and 2003, and I'm like, no, they're not. It's between 1990 and like 2000.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, so that means I'm a millennial?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, some of us are edge cases. You're an edge case.
I'm 2001.
2002.
2000. What am I? What's 2000?
I'm a 2000 boy.
2000 is the edge case. There you go.
How about we go ahead and just make up a new word?
I've seen zillennial.
Yeah, pretty much.
In all technicality, Gen Z goes from mid to late 1990s and ends in 2010.
Yeah.
So 1995 to 2010 is technically Gen Z.
Dang, I don't want to be a Gen Z, man.
I think millennials, since they're, generations are made up and are just like broad categories rather than like trying to pin down a specific year misses the point.
I'm gonna just be an individualist and not fall into any category.
So, us as, born from 2000 to 02 puts us solidly in between millennials and Gen Z. And it just depends on more which you want to identify with or whatever a boomer wants to call you, because they do that sometimes.
Okay, I have a question for everyone. Who here's parents are actually boomers?
Nope.
I don't know if anyone's
I think-
parents
Nope.
are actually boomers. Grandparents, yes.
Oh no, both of my parents are boomers.
What's the age?
Yeah, both of my parents are boomer. Well, my mom's not by like a tiny bit.
Boomers are currently between 56 and 76 years old, born between 1944 and 64.
Both of my parents are boomers, and my grandfather's much older than from being a boomer. My grandfather's 99.
So all three of my dads, because I have half dad, biological dad, and a stepdad, they are all boomers. My mom is Gen X.
My parents are Gen X, but I was raised by my grandparents who are solidly boomers.
See, I'm with Riley on that because I wasn't really raised by my parents. and with my aunt, who's also my guardian. I no, she's um, I think she's with the Gen or like I don't think she's a boomer. I know that's
Gen X.
Gen X,
yeah,
yeah.
probably Gen X.
I don't know what my birth parents are because I was adopted, but both my adopted parents are boomers.
Okay, I've got like the first. I wouldn't, this is just like getting real picky here, but is anybody else really bothered when you see a boomer just holding their phone in one hand and using their pointer finger with the other? Nothing but their pointer finger. It's
No.
only their pointer
No.
finger.
No.
Not really.
I feel like with that, to be honest, because with them getting older and for them like having like harder to see some things, especially like very small on a phone, even though you can like go to the settings and make the fonts bigger, they still don't know how to do that. So with them trying to like use their pointer finger for every single thing, then I feel like that's acceptable.
With my grandma, she just has a stylus that she uses.
Who uses stylus on a phone these days?
My grandma.
I do for like Jackbox.
Yeah, for drawing.
Drawing on Jackbox, yeah. TKO.
Yeah.
Fair.
My phone has like a stylus built in, so
Oh, because he has the Note something or other.
no, it's a really cheap LG phone. Stylo 3.
I think that's the same phone my grandma has, and yeah, she has that built-in stylus.
Yeah, in that case, why not use a stylus?
Yeah, and that to me is a really interesting. I mean, like, yeah, I get the point of having the stylus built into the phone, but honestly, besides drawing and whatnot, what else do you use it for?
Some people don't like having fingerprints on their screen.
I'm one of those people, but I still use my fingers, then I just wipe off my screen after.
Or like with people doing like having like banks and stuff on their phone and try to like send checks digitally, they can probably just
Oh yeah,
do their
signing
signatures
checks.
and stuff on the check. The stylus.
So, what's a common misconception that boomers have right now about Gen Z?
About Gen Z, that we're lazy and entitled. Granted, that's more millennials, but it happens the same thing with Gen Zers. One of those things where it's like, it's really funny what happens because, like, they'll be like, why don't you get involved in things? And then teenagers get involved with politics, and then they're like, what do you know? You're just a teenager. I'm like, what do you want from me?
I feel like when they do say that to get involved with something, I don't think that the first thing that's gonna come in their mind of a teen joining something is politics. So with them saying like, "What do you know? You're just a teenager," when we have something to say about it, I think it's kind of like shocks them because they probably don't know what to say against us. Because with
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, you're right.
I was just gonna say, like, I also think like it shocks them, but at the same time, I don't really think it should shock them because it's kind of our future that we're deciding on in politics. It's not their future.
Yeah, it's
Like, yeah, for the next little while it'll be, but like for the long term, what we decide now in politics ourselves will affect us longer than it'll affect them.
That's kind of morbid.
boomers should not be the majority of people in politics today. Like, okay, boomers should not be the majority of elected politicians today. It's vastly unrepresentative, and also a lot of their views are incredibly out of date.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's this certain effect, or something like that, certain pattern, where it's like the older generation. It's something where like the younger generation knows they are more cunning than the older generation, but the older generation refuses to think that they are not wiser. You know?
I hate when they refuse to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I think?
Same.
You know what I think? I feel like this is a repetitive thing in history, right?
Yes.
With where before I don't know what time period this was, but in school they would teach like religion stuff, right? But they won't teach science, right? I feel like in this day and age, right, they are teaching kids history, right? General history. And feel like that's the only thing that they will teach them. They won't teach them about politics at like an age that you would be like in high school. Like, I learned stuff like political science when I was a junior. I should have learned some of this stuff when I was like possibly in sophomore year.
Sorry, at my school, we didn't learn about like politics, like the like actual real world politics, until our senior year in government class. And even then, it was very briefly mentioned. So, like, I know nothing with politics. I know the basics. That's it.
I independently started keeping up with news and politics around freshman year. Would not recommend. I mean, you should, but it's not fun.
They teaches us in like government classes some laws, but they won't like teach us about stuff that's happening like in the real world, unless if it's like something very crucial.
I remember I had a boomer ass teacher my freshman or sophomore year. It was the same teacher. She hated my guts. I think it was my sophomore year though, and we were talking about prohibition, and I brought up like the up and coming commie I was, being like, you know, isn't there a parallel between how prohibition was treated back then and how the drug war is now? She did not want to have that conversation.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the time where we get to choose between like a good candidate and a better candidate instead of a bad candidate and a worse candidate.
In the conversations of talking politics with my grandpa, I think I cannot get over he told me that he has never voted for a candidate, just against a worst one.
That's a good way of going about it.
They did that for the Trump versus Hillary thing. Both of their views are like horrible, right? But
yeah,
if you really think about it, it's either you want to vote for Trump because you hate Hillary, or you want to vote Hillary because you hate Trump. It's not because it's not because of like views. It's just like a popularity in who do you hate the least.
So, there are some people who did vote on policy. There are some people who voted because they were racist, and there were some people who voted because they were sexist. We have it's fucking terrible. So the people who will complain that younger people are very like sensitive about things are the same people who get so easily offended by that shouldn't matter or doesn't directly affect them. Like, I get upset when people don't respect me as a human being. They get upset when someone isn't, like, when it's something that doesn't affect them. It's like, I cannot think of any example that's not grossly very political. Somebody give me a better example.
They're like, oh, you know, Gen Zers, millennials, you all are so sensitive. You all are so like politically correct. Why are you so politically correct and stuff like that? And it's like, we're not even trying to be. We just understand that it's not okay to be racist anymore.
Yeah.
Like my dad's blatantly racist.
All right. Which one?
Biological.
Okay.
And it's so irritating to like be like, hey, you can't say that. And he's like, yeah, I can. I grew up in Georgia. And it's like, what does that mean? No, I'm right here. You're not right here. In no world are you right here.
Yeah. I was at my friend's birthday party and we were all like playing games, and it was something in Cards Against Humanity. I forget what was said, but in a resulting conversation, my friend's mom said the N-word. And just the yikes between all of us sitting around the table was so heavy. And she's like, that's just the shit we said. And we're just like sitting there, obviously not wanting to start a confrontation. But yeah, it was, the yikes energy in that room was bad.
I have two things to say. One, with like Riley, I had like a similar thing to that with like Cards Against Humanity. I was going to a friend's house for their birthday, and I asked their mom. I asked my friend's mom, "Hey, where is everybody?" They're downstairs in the basement. So I went down in this basement. The first thing I heard was black people, and then my friend turned around. He saw me. He pointed at me. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Quincy." I was already like halfway up the stairs. And with Grayson, on my second point, with Grayson, you said that your biological father was racist, right? And you told him that it's not okay anymore. And he said that he was born in Georgia, correct? Where does he live now? Is he still in Georgia?
No, he's in southern Utah.
Oh!
Awkward.
Yikes!
I was gonna say, like, he's not in Georgia anymore. He can't do this. Georgia sure as hell ain't gonna accept someone like him anymore in this day and age.
Oh, my stepdad is also blatantly racist. Not nearly as racist as my biological dad, though.
Damn.
See, my mom's just blatantly homophobic and is just really uncomfortable because she'll like get on a tangent about like how gay people are bad and stupid or whatever, and like how it's like I can understand her not liking their like choices, but like she's
That's
just
not a choice.
well, in terms of coming out, because she always gets so angry when people come out. And it's just like, are you kidding me?
Can I fight your mother?
Yes, please. And, but I just get super, super anxious when she talks to me about these things because she's get really, really opinionated about it. And I get anxious because, like, I can talk politics if it's from an unopinionated, unbiased standpoint. Like, just saying the fact. When it gets opinionated and aggressive, that's when I dip. So
See, actually, generally, I'm pretty good at talking politics. I tend to get more, touchy about it when we're talking about, queer issues. Because that's personally affecting my ass.
oh my word. And like I had a friend, one of my best friends was blatantly gay. And before she came out, my mom had no problem with her. But as soon as she came out, I would not take her back to my house anymore because I knew my mom would get triggered. And it's just like, oh boy.
Okay, I got a new boomer misconception.
Uh-huh.
The one that goes, your generation doesn't do anything. You just sit inside all day. And it's like, yeah, everything that you used to do as a kid is illegal now. What am I supposed to do?
See, they say that, but they also don't want to go outside so they can get the virus.
Yeah, no one's going outside right now.
No one here believes in the virus, and it's ridiculous.
Murder them all.
Yeah.
Can't spread a virus if they're all dead.
Just gonna wait for natural selection to take care of them.
Grayson's really good at that, so he should be able to take care of it real quick.
What do you mean? I haven't ever done it.
Murdering people.
No, I'm the one going to court for triple homicide.
No, that's Amber. What are you talking about?
Oh, Quincy, you weren't there for that episode.
I know.
Did we settle on triple homicide or stealing the president's cookie for why I'm going to court? I know it was one of those two.
Both.
Both? Okay.
But yeah,
Anyway.
with what Grayson said about that misconception, right? We do stuff in the house for a reason. Not because of like the virus, like I was saying that like as a joke, but in all seriousness, in this day and age, it's serious. But some of us, we do have jobs that we can do at home, and we can be as much as productive as someone that goes to a workplace every day. Our workplace, surprisingly, is at home.
Oh, you know,
so
it's a really
you can't get mad at us.
You know, it's a really irritating misconception. That work that isn't physical work is not work.
I hate that misconception. I hate it with a passion.
God, yeah. Honestly, it's like, so I have not had a job that wasn't physical work, but like, some shit I did in school was harder than when I worked at a warehouse.
Yeah, trying to study for a test. Much worse than trying to lift up a 20-pound box.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
My ADHD ass cannot study for the life of me, but fucking constructing pallets and like the worst part of that job was just how much I fucked up my wrist and also the hours because it was second shift.
I have a question. This is probably like off topic. I'm sorry. But with your experience in like high school, right? Since we were talking about politics just a little bit, did you ever have a person in your school that was really into politics?
Yes.
Let me finish the question. Did you ever have a person that was in politics, but they were like really into politics so much that they tried to get a spot or a part in their local government? Like probably like treasurer or like...
Well, like
My history teacher.
Oh.
Same kind of.
I did have someone from my school talk in front of Congress, but I mentioned this last week. It was Ethan Lindenberger.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I assume there were people at the like 5 or 6 different high schools I went to that were really into politics, but I just sat in my room at boarding school all day, every day, and refused to talk to people, so I wouldn't know.
I had like 4 friends in high school.
another question. I am going to make this a little bit more lighthearted. I'm not 18 yet, technically. Can I call all of you boomers? Are you? Can I technically call you guys boomers?
No, you
No.
can't call us boomers. No.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good
Amber,
question.
you can call
Wait,
me a
hold
boomer.
on.
I'm 20. You're all good.
Wait, hold
Alright,
on.
boomer.
Hold on. Wait, hold
Thank
on.
you.
Amber just brought up a good question. What is the like? What has to be like the age gap for a young person to call an old person a boomer?
Look, here's the thing. If they're acting like a boomer, they can be okay boomered.
Yeah, I saw a meme where it's like boomer is more of a mindset than it is like a generation. Because there's some good old people, and there's some really dumb young people.
That's facts.
It's the specific kind of ignorance that comes with that mindset.
And also I think it just kind of depends on the person as well. Because my grandfather is 99 years old. He was born at the end
That's
of
not
World
boomer.
War.
I think that's lost generation.
Yeah, but like a lot of the viewpoints he holds in life are very boomer-like mindsets because he lived through that entire generation. You know, he served in World War II. He was born at the end of World War I. He does things that boomers typically do. I don't consider him to have a boomer mindset because honestly, he's 99 years old and he uses a smartphone pretty darn well, and he lives on his own, walks and drives without any help. Like, how can I call him a boomer? You know, like, yeah, I may not agree with everything he says or believes or thinks, but at the end of the day, he's made it to 99 and he's going strong. I can't really hold that against him.
And see, I think it's some of those where, like, those people who are of that age, they don't care. They don't care about other things going on right now. So we don't have any reason to call them to bring in the okay boomer insult to them.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, most people that age or even around that age, yeah, they may have beliefs or hold mindsets that are considered socially acceptable nowadays, but they also grew up in a time and lived through a time where it didn't really matter what you believed or what you thought or said. You all had to work together to reach a common goal. So they don't really pay attention to that stuff either. Like my grandfather, yeah, in New Orleans, his wife, my grandmother who passed away, she went to a hairstylist that was like, the name was like something that like went back to like slavery, and like he saw no problem with it. But at the same time, he was not a racist man. He just didn't see a problem with a business being named that way because that's how it always been named his entire life.
Wait a minute. With what you just said, right? Not with like the slavery part, but like you said, like it doesn't matter. Like what did you think? We had to come together to like reach a common goal. We could even do that in some moments in history.
Well, because I mean, even if you look at history, soldiers coming back from World War II were hailed as heroes. Soldiers coming back from the Vietnam War were considered like, you know, tools, and and nobody liked them.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Vietnam. The war shouldn't have happened, but also the people coming back from the war shouldn't have been treated like they were.
Exactly. But you know, like it's very much down to how the public perceives what's going on in the world at that moment. World War II, everybody thought it was for the best that people went over to Europe and into the Pacific and stuff. But Vietnam, people were like, they're like exactly what you said, Riley. They were like, what's the point in this? But once again,
wait,
There
even
wasn't
in World
a
War
point in
II,
that.
World War II, America did want none of it until like Japan came out of nowhere, and like
that's because World War II, but at the beginning of World War II, America was very much we only care about our country mindset. They didn't want to get involved in world affairs.
Yeah, isolationism.
Yeah, but as soon as Japan attacked and they realized, okay, we do need to get involved, people came together and like, okay, let's stop this. Let's put an end to this. And even before we got involved, America was helping the Allies, helping England, sending supplies, sending things over. We just didn't want to get involved in the actual war.
yeah, that is a difference between that's the difference between I'm helping someone, right? I'm kind of getting into war, but not into the point where I'm gonna start sending troops to different places of the world so we can win this war.
Exactly. And not until it was absolutely necessary that they did, because, Pearl Harbor and Japanese attack, which, by the way, if you look at the plan for the attack, it failed miserably. Besides the point, it's that type of thing. And then Vietnam was viewed as why the heck did we even get involved in the first place type thing.
Yeah, and then there's the fact that Amber and I and anybody born in 2002 or late 2001, we've only ever been alive while the U.S. was at war.
Oh, yeah. I was born exactly 11 months, after 9/11, so, that's fun.
Wait, there was no war in the 2000s?
War in Afghanistan started October 2001.
Yeah, I mean, I was only alive for, almost 2 years before it happened, So I pretty much lived my entire life with not knowing anything but the U.S. being at war.
And that's...
All right, then we got any more misconceptions before we try to go more deep down in history?
Yeah. Your resident commie will do that. No, you don't understand. I'm getting a commie flag to put in my room. I will not discuss this with my roommates.
I approve, Riley. I approve.
They will listen to this podcast and be concerned.
I feel like that's a bad thing to not talk to your roommates before this.
See, I really like what my friend has, which is the flag of the USSR right next to his trans flag.
Yes.
I'm sure that's all sorts of funness for those involved.
Look, man, I'll joke about being a commie because I don't like any fucking political party here, basically, and I'm having a bad time.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'm just sticking to being independent because this be crazy, man.
Let's all go off the grid.
I approve. Let's do it. Grayson, where do you want to go off the grid?
Y'all can just come over. We'll start a weird community out in the middle of Argentina.
Why Argentina?
Why Argentina?
Why not Argentina? It's not like if we do it in the U.S., we'll still have to pay money and stuff for the land that we own.
Well, we can go to other places that is actual fun.
I feel like a lot of places
Japan.
have property taxes.
I don't know, man. I think if we're off the grid, it's not going to matter where we are.
Just go to Siberia.
We can feed off the rice fields, dog.
Rice fields in Argentina. All right.
Okay. So we're going off the grid to a nondescript place.
Argentina.
I feel like this should be its own episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and add that to episode ideas.
I feel like instead of boomer misconceptions, we're just going off to different topics already.
Okay, here's the question. Why go to a country when you can just get a massive yacht and just live in the middle of the ocean?
Because the Coast Guard's going to come bother
Because
us.
yachts are expensive?
In the international waters, the Coast Guard can't. The Coast Guard only has rights within the water borders of whatever nation they're protecting.
Do you know how difficult it is to be off the grid in the middle of the ocean? Maybe we just get a freighter,
fish, dog, and try to cook it.
Yeah,
Just live on the moon.
Yes, let's go to the moon.
Let's go off the grid on the moon.
Okay, but consider this. We hollow out the moon and live on the inside of it? There are no problems with this plan.
That's what that one guy did from Umbrella Academy. That one guy just lived on
Big
the moon.
brain energy right there.
Live in the moon.
Why would we live in the moon when we could live inside Mars?
Why would we spend so much time like shipping materials to the moon when we can just like live in the Earth instead of on the Earth?
Yeah.
We gonna do Fallout?
Are you implying we're finding a
Fallout
cave
mode?
somewhere, or are we? giving a
No, like
place to
just
go?
full on. Well, we can do a cave. I was just thinking something subterranean. It's like someone buys the mineral rights.
We really did get way the fuck off boomer misconceptions, huh?
I'm just thinking, like, what if someone buys the mineral rights to the land like above you, and they start like digging down for salt or something like that, and then they just like
Uh-oh.
come across a fully furnished room, and you're like, oh hey, what's up? I've been expecting you.
No, but you gotta say a name, and small chance you'll be right and freak them the fuck out.
Or you just like get really good at hacking and you hack into their data files above them, find out who they are,
That is funnier.
send them inconspicuous emails like, I don't know, stop stomping on the ground so hard.
I'm trying to sleep, dog.
I'm trying to sleep, dog. Please stop.
I'm literally
Please stop,
just
stop.
vibing here.
Dude, like wear some socks on your tile.
Hey, yo, Bartholomew, I know you're trying to get some salt, but I'm trying to sleep next door. Can you like?
Yeah, like if you really want some salt, I suggest you keep doing what you're doing.
Oh,
Tasty.
Yum.
Okay, can I just say, like, what's up with, like, people who are homophobic that are, like, part of our generation? Like, first of all, if you're another dude and you're homophobic and stuff like that, it's like, why? First of all, you have a guy taking another guy out of the game and leaving more girls for you. I don't see the problem here.
See, that's big brain. And
See?
yeah,
No, wait, no,
nothing like getting
no,
harassed in class.
no, because you know what's gonna happen then? You know what's gonna happen? Then that same girl or those girls that you just mentioned, they're probably gonna say like, maybe I should try some.
I mean, have you
go for a
considered
girl
women?
this time? And then guess what? No girls for us now. Now with it.
I mean, be better.
At what?
Ask out the girl you have a crush on before I get to her.
But I'm ugly. What you talking about?
Quincy, you are a beautiful human being. If I wasn't straight, I would try to date you. No homo, though.
I look like my profile picture. Don't talk to me. I'm big ugly.
Grayson, what's your boomer misconception?
Yeah, I really wanted to do my boomer misconception because, it's the topic of this episode, and I thought it was really important that we stay on topic for this episode. But, if y'all
fair
if y'all
enough.
just want
I'm
to keep
so
talking,
You
sorry.
were talking about living in Argentina, Grayson. This isn't just us. Everybody is guilty today.
that's true. Boomer misconception, you can work through college. I don't know if you've seen the
No.
math on that, but it's like minimum wage back in the day for boomers was a lot lower, but also inflation was a lot lower. And
Yeah,
college
costs have
tuition
gone up so much higher than
was a lot
minimum wage.
lower.
Okay, here's what I say with that, right? Because I think that with us going to this college, with us not working for the first year, because if you think about it, we're getting $500 per month, so we probably don't have to work.
I
so
was
we
told
can-
400, and honestly, that's just to cover like living expenses and not room and board. And honestly, $400 a month is probably too much, or is more than enough to cover food and other essentials for.
Yeah.
a
So
month.
why
Yeah,
would I
my
have
parents
to
are
work?
giving me $300
Why
a
would I have
month.
to work in this day and age,
Oh,
especially
look
going
at
to a
you and
college
your
like
parents
Newmont?
being able to pay you money for college.
Look,
I felt that. Hashtag $100,000 in debt, gang.
Same.
I got dummy good scholarships, and I'm still probably going to be in 5-figure debt.
My dad was talking to me, biological, by the way. It's like, maybe you shouldn't go to college this year. Maybe you should just work for me so you can, you work for me for, a year so you can, pay for college later. And I didn't say anything, but I was totally thinking, oh, yeah, sure, work for the guy who had, the last time he paid me was 2 years back and still hasn't paid me for the hours that he has logged for me working for him. The only time I've been paid for my dad was because I was being paid by my dad through someone else who I was working for.
Yikes.
And also, I'm like, maybe I won't take it. Maybe I won't take financial advice from a guy who's financially unstable. And yeah. Anyway,
No, and I mean, my parents are paying, but when I told them I wanted to go back to college to Newmont, I was completely prepared for them to say, "We're not paying. Get loans." Dudes, that.
I've been told since I was in 4th grade that I would have to get good grades so I could get full ride scholarship for college, and I did, and I'm still gonna have to owe $40,000 when I leave.
I'm still fine. Wait, are you gonna do the thing where you're gonna like start paying while you're in college?
Yes.
So that's like okay. Oh, then
I'm gonna do everything I can to owe the least money possible by the time I leave college.
that's a future problem for the future me.
That's like
It's not. I feel like it's not gonna be like 40K, but like you'll like be fine with this college promising like for us getting like jobs. It's gonna get like 60K per year.
I think they said the average was 68K per year.
Oh, the average?
So close.
So I feel like with this risk of taking out a loan, I feel like the reward will be greater than the price to pay. Especially if you buckle down, you don't quit like halfway into like the first semester. So like, man, forget this. I was about to curse. Man, forget this. I'm going home.
That's
coding
the thing
is not for me.
Can I just say that I
can't quit halfway through a semester because then I'm just stuck in Salt Lake.
Wait, you don't want to be stuck in Salt Lake?
No.
I mean, if I'm a recent,
with your dad, I don't think so.
No, my dad's in southern Utah. So anyway,
either
I
or.
don't know where anything in Utah is.
I just wanted to say this right. Anybody else just waiting for the economy to crash and hyperinflation to happen because we have a fixed tuition rate?
Yes.
Yes.
Because of hyperinflation.
Wait a minute. No. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I just remember. We probably don't have to worry about doing like repaying like when we get out of college. Because with surprisingly, Donald Trump, he signed something. I don't know if it was either like this week or last week or late last week.
Temporarily puts a pause on student loan payments.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's good.
Yes. That
means that we can probably earn money. We can probably earn like or save a little bit of that like money that we get from Newmont like every month, and then we'll be like straight for like at least a good year. I would say.
I don't know if I would call this boomer misconception, but boomer misconception. You know how they're like, oh, nobody's having kids anymore. It's like, yeah, kids are expensive. I don't know if you knew that, but like everything's more expensive now in the future because of what you did.
Yeah, it's all the things that you did. You put us in this hole. Look what you did, you idiots.
See, okay, I feel like it's not because of what they've done. I just feel like we're becoming smarter with this.
Yeah.
Because before people been like popping out babies like willy nilly, and then out of nowhere, hey, you got a disease. Where?
There's also the thing of like, when my grandma went to high school, what was required for graduating was significantly less. Like, she needed a math credit, just one, in a general maths course. Well, for us, and probably in general, but like specifically with my schools, like you needed 4 math credits, with one of them being Algebra 2 or an equivalent. And that's probably approximately the standard that y'all have to meet. Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm not even sure what I had to meet.
It's for me, but except for the fact, I don't really have to take, like Algebra 2 or anything, like that. Like, cause
I honestly have no idea what it was for me because I did go to like 5 different high schools in like 4 different states. So every single high school I went to had different requirements. So, you know, graduating, like I didn't even realize I needed to do one more math, but I needed to do one more math course to be able to graduate and stuff like that.
For me, it was 3 math credits, and two of them were Algebra 1 and Geometry, and then the last one was whatever your choosing was.
Oh yeah, that was me also.
Huh. Apparently we had higher standards here. All right.
Because the last math class that I took was pre-calc.
Yeah, Idaho's like number 40 out of like the like ranked K through 12 or something. I don't know. It's pretty low.
Hey, y'all taking pre-calc and algebra too? I took personal finance.
Yeah, I took pre-calc my sophomore year because I'm an overachiever.
I took personal finance for two quarters, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm still.
They didn't offer personal finance.
And then I was like, oh boy, I'm missing a third of a computer credit.
Oh, a third of a credit? How?
We had these weird trimesters.
I did personal finance because that was like the easiest math class that was in my school.
They didn't have personal finance classes. I was gonna say, I don't know if we talked about it because I had to dip for a bit to talk to a maintenance worker, but if we talked about like personal finance and if like, I don't know about you guys, but I get hated, like tacked on because I don't know how to do it because I was never taught.
My
Like, there was no
grandparents had a
personal-
checkbooking class and shit like
There's no-
that.
Yeah. There was no personal finance course offered at my school. I took one in North Dakota by a very, very big boomer.
You
And
know what makes me
he
upset?
did not talk about personal finance at all.
So the fact that a lot of boomers have cut funding to schools and now we don't have home ec classes, and then we, as the younger generations, are blamed for not knowing anything that would have been taught in a home ec class that wasn't offered.
I want girls who cook. You ain't gonna get that because you know why? Home ed got deleted.
Learn how to cook yourself, coward.
Yeah. I had home ec in like 7th grade, and then that was it. We didn't have it ever again. I remember nothing from that class because I was 12.
We had a foods class. It wasn't good. There was like, we had a few classes. Like, we had stuff that was like home ec, but spread across 3 classes that were optional and iffy. But like, here's the, like, I know basic cooking and basic sewing because my grandparents felt that those were skills that I should know, which they are. But there was like nowhere I could really learn that well at school because there's no home ec class.
I just want to go to Japan just so I could have a home ed class.
We had an independent living class, and that was fun.
There is a school that I went to in Montana that did.
No, because look, don't bring that weed word to me, Riley. I'm only saying this because that's like the only place that I can think of on the top of my head that will probably have like a home ed class. With like
Quincy,
how huge their school is.
There was one. I lived in Montana for about like a little bit less than a year. Apparently, the school that I went to up there had a home ec class.
Yeah, like the smaller states seem to have home ec classes because there's nobody there.
Where I live don't.
Yeah, and
Not
like
Connecticut.
Not even Nebraska does.
okay, let me rephrase. Midwest. Let me rephrase. Midwest.
Montana is not Midwest.
Yeah, Montana is not Midwest.
Okay, so
Alright.
Nebraska does not have one.
Oh boy.
so here's
Ohio does though. So
here's something kind of annoying. I care less because I'm not going to high school this year. The our school next year, yeah, they're opening in person, first of all. Second of all, they're talking about how they're canceling a lot of the old things, and it's like, what do you mean? Half of the students aren't even going, but they signed contracts like last year and like gave you the money for their kids' tuition, and it was like a no refund sort of agreement. So you have all the funding for double the amount of kids that you're actually going to have, and you're saying you have to cut programs.
wild.
What do they mean old things? That's
Yeah.
the thing.
My school, like my
It's depending on what they are canceling though.
My school didn't have any clubs. We didn't have swim. We didn't have band. Let me try to think of the clubs that we did have.
Not believe
So,
you didn't have band.
They're not even. No.
yeah, how'd you not have band?
Here's the thing. We didn't have clubs or anything. So what we had was choir, which some people would join because it was an easy credit.
Choir.
Choir, art. CAD just got added
Choir's good.
Yep, computer aided drafting.
like 2 years ago. Let's see what else. And then there's sports, of course, all those sports. And that's about it.
See, we had
One
sports.
thing that's great here is our band. Our band is very well liked. Notably well liked by our principal and superintendent, which is the important part because that's more how you get good funding. But like, which is great because our band is also comparatively large for a high school marching band. Like, I think of all the other teams we go against, I think there's one or two bands that might be bigger by, like, a few. But it's like, we had so many clubs and stuff at our... We have a whole engineering program. Like, there are, like,
Yeah, we don't have
classes across all 4 years. I was in it 1 year and then dropped it because the teacher is... So, like, you'll think I go off on tangents. You barely learn anything in some of those classes because he just goes off.
Oh, I've taken Spanish ever since I was in second grade, and I barely know anything.
Felt that.
For teachers that go off on tangents, I had a teacher who, my English teacher, freshman year, I learned nothing in that class besides random Edgar Allan Poe facts that have no correlation to anything else in my life.
Yeah, did you know that
all he would talk about for an hour and a half every day would be Edgar Allan Poe for 12 weeks.
Yeah, he got the inspiration for one of his books from his friend who murdered someone.
I'm very well aware, Adam. I can say
Grayson, you know how you tell that how you have had the same barber for 10 years, the exact same barber for 10 years? Our engineering teacher would mention just so many times how he saved his buddy's pizza place just a bunch of money. And like, every student has heard this story at least once per engineering class they took.
I had a teacher who, she would like try to act like the classroom was a workplace. So then it was awful because we'd like talk a little bit like before class started, and she'd be like, "This is a workplace. You're not supposed to talk about random things." Like, have you ever heard of breaks?
Oh, also, boomer complaint right now. So we would always get free reading time in my English class, and it's fine, it's whatever. But I'm like, I want to read this book that I have on my tablet, and there was this one sub who just wouldn't let me. I'm like, I'm literally just trying to read. It can't do anything but do books. It's bad, and I can't connect to the Wi-Fi. Just let me read, please.
The worst part is, in like English class, is where you lose the book that you was assigned to, so you have to go online and try to find pages.
Imagine reading the books you were assigned in English class. I can't
imagine.
Spark
because
notes.
of English class.
What do you mean? The books that I was assigned to was phenomenal.
Imagine reading.
Used to we'd be assigned reading, and then I was the type of kid who, instead of read the assigned chapters, I would read the entire book in one night and then not deal with it ever again.
I have done that. I think, oh god, what was that book? The book about The Outsiders. Yeah, I got real invested in it, and English class was the last class of the day in 8th grade when I read that, and the teacher let me work ahead because honors kid TM, and I read it the whole bus ride home, and I was the last stop on the bus ride, so it was like a 45-minute ride, and I finished the whole book by 4 p.m.
Whoa. Wait,
I read it the whole bus ride.
45-minute bus ride?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I have like a 20 to 30-minute bus ride. Thank God I learned how to drive, though.
Yeah.
All
that was in 5th and 6th grade before I got hate crimed for being on a bus. So I shouldn't word it like that. So
boy, do I have
to the back, Riley.
Not quite, but the bus I went on in high school was segregated boys side, girls side. So rip me, I guess.
Just sit in the aisle. Just gotta stand up to the man.
Yeah, in the afternoon they were a bit more lax, but then you'd have the how do I say that without swearing? The stupid middle schoolers who would sit on the other side and be like, "Oh, I'm transgender," and be like But there was one time, like, I was literally just vibing to my music, and some kid, like, out of nowhere just calls me, like, a slur. So kid, calls me a slur. And then I just stopped riding the bus, which did mean I had to walk 2 miles home every day, which was unpleasant, because it was every day. But I hate riding
It was
the
more
bus.
time to read the book.
You
actually,
can't
that-
read and walk.
You can read and
Yes,
walk.
you
I
can.
did. I used to do that all the time. I used to read so much. God, I wish I could read anymore.
See, for me, like, my bus was awful. Like, okay, what happened was that my original bus route got, like, all the bus drivers kept quitting because these kids were so bad. So we had to get combined with this other bus route, meaning I got picked up from my stop at 6:45 in the morning, and I got home at 4:30
When
every
did
day.
your school get off?
3:20.
All right.
And I live like a mile away from the school, so I could have walked if I wanted to, but I didn't because I have a really bad ankles and a really bad knee.
Yeah. For me in middle school, I rode a different bus than when I went to in high school. The middle school one is the one that took 45 minutes. I would have to leave for the bus stop at 6:15 to get picked up at 6:22. Our bus driver was pretty consistent. And to get to school, and then school got off at 2:30. I would be getting home at 3:30ish.
What time did school start and end for you?
2:30 to 3:30. Nope. 7:30
boy.
to 2:30.
All right, my school was from like 8:05 to 3:20.
2:30 to
I hate
3:30.
that.
School
I don't
speed
know what
run.
School day ever. That'd be the
School
best school
speed
day
run.
ever.
90%.
School speed run edition.
School speed run anyway. Yeah, with my high school bus, the bus drivers quit a lot. One bus driver threatened to take us to the police station.
Oh, fun.
Damn.
It's,
I would've just been like,
the
do it.
difference is, yeah, he threatened you. You never had a cop actually get on your bus and try to take someone out of the bus.
Yikes!
I saw a vine of that.
Like,
That's pretty funny.
like someone did. Hey, like, get off the bus. I didn't do anything. Get off the bus. He gets off the bus. Are you
He
his
books
brother?
it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Huh?
Doesn't he just book it when he gets off the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Like the police officer
Go-
still talking
goes
to the
across
rest of
the
the kids,
snow.
like, don't you mess around, and they're all looking at him, and he's just running.
He goes across the snow. He does a flip.
Jesus. Yeah, no, I've definitely been questioned getting off the bus because apparently someone was like screaming. I had my music cranked up to 11 and was just vibing, just zoned out as much as possible. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
On my bus, there was. Oh,
Y'all ever just read the same, like, 2 lines in a book because every time you get past the second line in the book, you just, like, doze off and then you're like, oh, hey, I'm supposed to be reading?
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah.
read like a whole ass page then realized you didn't absorb any of it?
A
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah.
Have you done a chapter? I've done that.
Have you ever read a book and then just be like, I don't even know what this entire book was
And
about?
then took
Yeah.
the test on it and then got, like, 2 points out of 10.
I used to be able to
Yeah.
read so much.
I feel like it's reversed with me because I didn't read the book, but somehow when it came for us to discuss what happened in the chapter, I was like the person who was most into the conversation, even though
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
read the
Spark,
chapter.
no.
See, after like
Spark,
3
no.
people have answered, I can fake my way through a conversation.
Oh yeah, same.
The only book that I really enjoyed reading was Catcher in the Rye. Like I enjoyed that book. That was a good book.
There's a book that I still have from school that
I've never read Catcher in the Rye.
Dude, it's
Ditto.
good. Dude,
Yeah,
I
I
would
remember,
suggest.
like, when I was younger, I used to be able to tear through books. Once I was at, I did that thing where I was going to the library every week. It was really nice. And they had, and I was reading the Percy Jackson series, and they had books 2 through 5, but not the first book. But I found a digital version online for free, and I literally sat in the library, read the entire book in one sitting, and then checked out the rest of the series. I wish I could just read a whole book in one sitting anymore, or read in general.
My favorite book is like Tempest by William Shakespeare.
I'm an intellectual. The only piece of fiction I absorb is Rick and Morty, and all of the books that I read are nonfiction.
What up? I'm Jared. I'm 19, and I never learned how to read.
I learned how to read. I used to be able to read so well, and now I can't think about reading without getting sad because I can't read.
That's kind of the same for me, actually. Yeah, because I used to read almost like every day, I would say. Because the books I used to read by an author, James Patterson.
I practice math every day, so the only way I conversation with somebody is through numbers.
That's me, baby. Actually, I didn't even have a math class my senior year.
Yeah, like books like Witch and Wizard.
Time itself is now mine, Jotaro. What if we kissed on the Jotaro bridge?
What the Adam?
What?
Adam,
Hush.
Sorry, I was scrolling through Newmont memes.
Yes, yeah.
What the
Adam,
hell?
you want to kiss somebody on a Jotaro bridge, dude? Don't you?
On the Jotaro bridge, yeah, man.
What if we kissed on the jouch?
No,
not the jouch. No. No.
Let's
Oh,
go with the
no.
jouch!
I'm the one who brought
The
out.
jouch
I'm the
is
one who
not
brought up the
better.
jouch. No.
Can I wear my jocks?
I prefer the jump seat.
Ew. No.
Can I wear my jants? My
You
jeans?
gotta bring your joints back in the chance!
Would you like to make some jottery with me? Some jean pottery. We can use our jants.
Pottery.
is that like when like we get to New Orleans? Aren't like Adam and Grayson like going to kiss or something? Or kiss? Oh boy.
What? Amber!
I'm having a stroke.
Amber!
Riley,
Yes, Quincy?
you want some Gina Joder and jelly?
Gina.
Yes!
I think it would still be. I still think it'd be.
As in
I
J.
think
Jonah
it'd be
Jameson?
Gina. I still think it would be
Gene
Gina
Jonah
Butter, not
Jameson?
Gina Jutter.
Guys,
'Cause I think-
should I bleach my chair?
No.
Guys,
No, you'll take all the jeller
right,
out.
you're right. It won't look like our proper
Do you wear your shoes?
I hate it.
Oh my god.
Right,
I hate this.
Okay.
What
I
is
hate
that
that I started
episode?
this.
Right here before we get any farther into this rabbit hole. So once
Boomer
again,
misconception.
Rabbit hole.
The only pants are khakis and jeans. I prefer jorts and jants. Thank you very
No,
much.
it's Jackie's dog. It's Jackie's dog.
all right, for
You
this
never wore
episode,
Jackie's dog.
we had Adam join in.
I was the last one.
Yay, we had Amber.
I hate it here.
We had Grayson
Gonna hurt someone.
and Jackson.
Hi.
We had Joey.
Hello, hello. Oh my.
We had our new member Quincy.
AKA Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima?
And we had Riley.
goodbye, have a nice giant.
Wow.
So cursed.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the Caution Do Not Open podcast. Just so everyone is aware, the anchor.fm/CDNO podcast link is not still available because we have switched distributors. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you did enjoy the episode, be sure you like us, give us a follow on whatever platform you're on. Be sure you follow us all on Instagram. That's in a previous episode somewhere. I don't remember where. Follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter at CDNO Podcast, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Bye bye. Goodbye. See ya.
Guten Tag.
Later. Bye. Goodbye. Adios.
Hasta la vista.
Goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye, guys.
The opposite of good morning.